In my past life, my little brother insisted his butt could juice fruit. I told him he needed to quit this obsession, or it would ruin his health, both physical and mental. Eventually, he got better. He stopped. He got married to a rich, beautiful woman and lived the dream. Then, he turned on me, accused me of stealing his joy, of destroying his life by forcing him to quit. And in the end, he locked me in a room and set it on fire. I died, burned alive. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the very day I first discovered my brother's disturbing fruit juicing hobby. This time, I didn't try to stop him. Instead, I praised him. Wow, Kyle, you've got talent. We don't even need a juicer in this house anymore. Suddenly, my phone rang. Claire, I need help! Kyle screamed on the other end. I tried juicing a pineapple and now I'm bleeding back there. It hurts like hell. That's when I realized I had been reborn. In my previous life, when I heard Kyle was hurt, I rushed to the hospital. I asked him if he was into men. He firmly denied it, blaming his behavior on obsessive-compulsive disorder. He explained, I've always used softer fruits before. Bananas, strawberries. This time I wanted something more exciting, so I tried pineapple, and ended up here. He begged me not to tell Mom and Dad. After the doctor wrote the prescription, I paid the bill. The doctor pulled me aside and said, You really need to keep an eye on him. People aren't supposed to put just anything up there. That's not what your rectum is for. He barely escaped surgery this time. Next time, he might not be so lucky. Determined to help him quit this habit, I poured all my savings into getting Kyle therapy and medication. I even moved close to his college to keep him under supervision. And it worked. He eventually overcame his compulsions, graduated with honors, and started climbing the corporate ladder fast. But instead of being grateful, Kyle blamed me. You ruined my life, he said. Robbed me of what made me special. Then he locked me in a room and burned me alive. So no, this time, I'm not helping him. When he begged me to take him to the hospital, I told Mom. She said she didn't know the way and insisted I go with them. At the hospital, Kyle looked pale. Mom was tearing up from worry. The doctor discreetly pulled her aside. No normal person juices fruit with their butt, he said. Also, some of his muscles back there are quite loose. You might want to pay attention to his romantic behavior. Mom exploded. How dare you imply my son's gay? You're sick. She yelled. My Kyle's just got a little hobby, that's all. So what if he uses his butt? We save money on kitchen appliances. People nearby stopped and stared. Some snickered. Who the hell juices fruit with their ass? Poor kid. No wonder he ended up like this. Even as Mom handed over a $100 bill for Kyle's meds, she grumbled the whole time. What a scam. How can a few pills cost this much? It's like this hospital thinks we're made of money. Back home, Mom kept spoiling Kyle like usual. Even though she knew exactly where those fruits were going, she didn't stop him. Instead, she bought him more: bananas, peaches, mangoes, pears, chopped neatly and delivered to his room. He's just a little different. What's the big deal? She said. The next morning, I was woken up by the sound of Mom slamming my door open. Claire, get out here. Did you eat Kyle's fruit last night? I bought it for him, not for you. Before I could explain, Dad jumped in. Claire, come on. Can't you just leave your brother's snacks alone for once? He's going through enough. I gave up and kicked Kyle's door open. The room was a mess. Fruit cores and murky water littered the floor. Kyle was under the covers, face flushed. When he saw us, he buried his head in the pillows. Mom, why are you barging in? Close the door. I turned to Mom. Still think I ate the fruit? She blinked, flustered. Don't try to twist this. You've always had sticky fingers. If it's Kyle's, then whatever, it's fine. Boys will be boys. I laughed coldly. Sticky fingers? That was Kyle, not me. As kids, he'd steal money and blame it on me. Every time. Even when I proved my innocence, she'd just shrug it off. If it's Kyle, it's no big deal. He's just a bit wild. But karma was catching up. Later that day, I overheard Kyle on the phone with his boyfriend. Baby, I've mastered the juicing technique. I think my parents will love the drinks too. If they're into it, sneak over tonight. I'll juice one just for you. He came home carrying 2 cups of milk tea. During dinner, he handed both to Mom. Thanks for being the best, Mom. She beamed. See? Kyle knows how to treat his mother. Not like you, Claire, useless in every way. She gave 1 cup to Dad. Don't touch this, Claire. It's from my son. They both took big gulps. Kyle, this tastes weird. Oh, that's duck poop fragrance milk tea, Kyle said. It's trendy now. I added extra toppings. Might taste a little off. I stayed silent, watching as they happily downed the drinks. They had no idea what was in them. Chapter 2. Spicy Love and Hospital Drama. That evening my mom was so thrilled by Kyle's milk tea gift that she went out and bought even more fruit, bananas, mangoes, peaches, pears, and lovingly delivered them to his room. Later that night, once everyone had gone to bed, Kyle made a phone call. Come up, baby, he whispered. I'll unlock the door for you. His boyfriend arrived grinning. Let's go. I'm tired of the usual juice. Got anything exciting tonight? Kyle blushed. Yeah. It's been a while since we tried something spicy. He led the guy to his room, then slipped into the kitchen. Peeking through the crack in my bedroom door, I saw it all. Kyle came out of the kitchen holding my brand new bottle of chili sauce. And just like that, my chili sauce was tainted. Moments later, from Kyle's room came a disturbing series of moans, groans, and frantic pleas. Stop! It hurts! My stomach, please! His boyfriend didn't stop. Kyle's howls grew louder, eventually waking Mom. She knocked on his door, groggy and annoyed. Kyle, did you sneak a pineapple again? I told you it's too intense. She pushed open the door and screamed. The floor, walls, and every piece of fruit were splattered with a mix of chili sauce and something yellow and foul-smelling. The bed sheets were soaked through. Kyle lay pale and weak, reaching out to Mom. Help me. The house was filled with her shrieks. Dad stumbled out, grumbling, but froze when he saw the room. Then he screamed too. They rushed Kyle to the hospital. He fainted multiple times from the pain. The ER doctors surrounded him. His rectum is severely burned, one muttered. Last time we warned you about the pineapple. Now you've added chili sauce? The previous tears hadn't even healed yet. Mom collapsed, begging the doctors to save him. We only have one son, please. After an urgent endoscopy and a team consult, the doctor came out. The damage is extensive. We're dealing with chemical burns. He needs surgery, immediately. Mom signed the forms, sobbing. The surgery lasted over 2 hours. Kyle made it through, but had to stay for observation. Once the worst was over, Mom turned on me. I knew something was off. You bought that chili sauce, didn't you? Kyle would never use it if you hadn't tempted him. He's a good boy. He only ever juices pineapples. She was screaming so loud. The other patients in the room started laughing. Girl can't even buy chili sauce anymore without being accused of causing butt damage. What kind of logic is that? He's a grown man, not a toddler. Even as the room filled with ridicule, Mom doubled down. It's your fault. You poisoned him with your hot sauce, and now we're broke from hospital bills. You better pay me back. Kyle woke up groggy from anesthesia, only to hear Mom trying to pin everything on me. Tell her, baby. Tell her it was Claire's idea. Kyle was mortified. Mom, stop, please. Days passed. Kyle recovered enough to be discharged. The doctor took Mom and Dad aside one last time. His gut is severely weakened. One more stunt like this and it could be irreversible. You must make sure he stops this behavior. Mom and Dad nodded solemnly. The day before Kyle came home, they went to clean his room. The moment they opened the door, they gagged. The stench was unbearable, like fermented sewage. Dad gave up instantly, muttering, "I'm not doing this," and left. Mom stayed, scrubbing through the nausea for over an hour. But no matter what she did, open windows, spray air freshener, the smell lingered. Then she found it. In the drawer under Kyle's desk was a bowl. Floating in brown, curdled milk tea were fruit chunks. And human waste. She stared at it, trembling, then pulled out her phone and searched. What's in duck poop fragrance milk tea? She froze as the results loaded. It wasn't made from actual duck poop. It was just a type of oolong tea. She had Misinterpreted everything. Panicked, she called Dad. You remember that milk tea Kyle gave us? I thought it was like that fancy civic coffee stuff, made from animal poop. But it wasn't. It was supposed to be regular tea. Dad turned pale. You mean we drank? They both ran to the bathroom and puked until they were dry heaving bile. Afterward, Dad was furious. This is your fault. You encouraged him. Mom sobbed. You think I knew? Claire must have known. She was laughing that day. Dad turned on me too. You knew it was tainted and didn't say anything? I looked at them both, deadpan. You're the one who said I didn't deserve any. You handed the second cup to Dad yourself. Dad nearly lost it. You think that makes it better? You let us drink shit. Mom wailed, threatening to kill herself, until Dad backed down. Kyle returned home the next day, and they finally tried to force him to stop. They banned fruit. Banned chili sauce. I started hiding my dipping sauces in my room, afraid he'd get to those too. For a few days, he behaved. But then, every night, while my parents snored, Kyle snuck out to the fruit store and stocked up. The juicing resumed. I didn't sleep for days. Then, a miracle, a rich girl, daughter of a big shot named Charles, fell in love with Kyle at first sight. Her family opposed it, but she insisted on marrying him. Kyle, who always preferred men, couldn't resist her wealth. He jumped at the opportunity to lock down the engagement. Mom was over the moon. She made a giant dinner and invited all our relatives. Claire, she said at the table, if only you had been born a boy, maybe you'd be worth something too. Chapter 3. The Fall of Prince Kyle. At dinner, Mom beamed with pride. My Kyle is marrying into a wealthy family. We're all going to benefit from this. Relatives gushed along. Claire, you must be so proud of your brother. If he makes it big, don't forget us little folks. A guy like Kyle, good school, bright future, rich wife. He's set for life. Mom nodded eagerly. If only Claire had been born a boy. Girls are just a money pit. Her salary barely covers a down payment. Useless. I stayed quiet, chewing my food and replaying memories of my last life. In my previous life, under my relentless supervision, Kyle had quit his disgusting habits, studied hard, and was eventually selected as an outstanding graduate. That's when he met Vivian Lynn, a wealthy heiress, who saw him speak at graduation and insisted on marrying him. They ended up together. But in this life, Vivian had fallen for him 2 years earlier. Something had changed. A butterfly flapped its wings somewhere, and now everything was ahead of schedule. Mom kept bragging about it all the way through the National Day holiday. The moment Kyle returned from college, he became bolder than ever. With no one watching him on campus, he had indulged freely. Now back home, he bought piles of fruit again and snuck his boyfriend into his room every night. Mom thought she was about to become royalty. She floated through the house with joy, unaware her dream was about to collapse. Vivian Lynn treated Kyle very well. Even before the engagement, she let him move into her luxury 3,000-square-foot condo, gave him a black card with a 6-figure limit, and a personal chauffeur. And how did Kyle repay her? By using her money on his boyfriend. He even brought the guy into her condo. One day, Vivian came home early and caught them. Vivian might have been generous, but she wasn't stupid. She instantly called off the engagement and had Kyle's belongings thrown out onto the street. Kyle slunk home with his tail between his legs. When Mom heard the engagement was canceled, she lost her mind. She rushed to Vivian's house to confront her, but the servants blocked her at the door. Unable to barge in, Mom sat down on the sidewalk, wailing. Just because you're rich, you think you can bully good people? My Kyle is honest and faithful. You've ruined his name. How could you abandon him now? Passers-by began to gather and whisper. Mom upped the drama. You can't just break off the engagement like that. We'll sue you. You're a heartless fraud. Vivian calmly stepped outside holding printed photos. These are screenshots from my security cameras. You might want to take a good look. She tossed the papers onto the ground. The crowd gasped. The images were graphic. Kyle and his boyfriend, in every compromising position imaginable. One woman whispered, "Holy hell, this is like a car crash I can't look away from." Another muttered, "Thank God she dumped him." She dodged a bullet. Mom picked up a photo. Her face went pale. No, this is fake. My Kyle isn't like that. You bitch. Vivian signaled her bodyguards, who escorted Mom away. On the way home, Mom cursed Vivian nonstop. She's lying. Kyle doesn't like men. He doesn't. But she wasn't so sure anymore. Back home, I expected her to explode at Kyle. But no. She made dinner like usual, washed his underwear like usual, acted like everything was fine. At the dinner table, the air was thick with tension. Kyle kept his head down, guilt written all over him. That night, he didn't even touch any fruit. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could finally sleep peacefully. But in the middle of the night, I heard something. Through the crack in my door, I saw Mom creeping into Kyle's room with her phone. She hovered over him as he slept, unlocked his phone, and started scrolling through his messages. As the glow lit up her face, her expression darkened. The deeper she went, the more her hands shook. Then she screamed. Kyle jolted awake, tried to grab the phone, but she shoved him away and yelled, "George, get in here!" Dad came stumbling in. She shoved the phone into his hands. It was all there. Kyle's sexts, flirty messages, and filthy videos with his boyfriend. Dad exploded first. He grabbed Kyle by the ear and twisted it hard. "You little shit. I worked my ass off to raise you, and this is what you do? You bend over for strangers? You enjoy it, huh? I'll beat the crap out of you." He kicked Kyle over and over. Kyle cried and begged. "Mom, help me. Dad's gonna kill me." Mom flung herself between them, sobbing. "George, stop. You'll break him. He's our only son." Dad stormed out, shouting, "Fine. You and your precious son can enjoy life together. I'm out." He slammed the door and left. Mom collapsed to the floor, crying into her hands. Our walls were thin. The whole neighborhood heard their screaming that night. Gossip spread fast. Soon, everyone in the extended family knew Kyle was into men. No one wanted to marry their daughter into our family anymore. In a desperate attempt to fix things and uphold the family line, Mom proposed that Kyle marry a girl from another village. It didn't matter who, just someone, anyone, to save face. Chapter 4. Selling the daughter to save the son. My parents were desperate. They'd spent most of their savings on Kyle's hospital bills, toys, and secret boyfriends. Now they were broke, disgraced, and hell-bent on saving their only son's reputation. They started looking for a girl, any girl, to marry Kyle. And they actually found one. From a nearby village, just 19 years old. Her name was Daisy Lee. Her mother had died young. Her father remarried a month later and had a new son, instantly sidelining Daisy. She'd just come back from working in the city when her father tried to marry her off, for a bride price. He asked for 128,000 yuan. My parents bargained him down to 100,000. But they didn't have 100,000. That's when I realized just how low they were willing to go. One night, Mom pulled me aside into her room, smiling. She slipped a silver bracelet onto my wrist. "Claire, honey, you're not getting any younger. Your father and I found you a good man. The bracelet is part of your dowry. Once we set the date, it'll all be arranged." I stared at her. So that's where they got the money. They planned to sell me off to pay for Kyle's bride. I took off the bracelet and handed it back. "No thanks." Mom got angry fast. "Don't be ungrateful. This guy has a job in town, works in a factory, has government benefits. He's 180 pounds, 160 centimeters tall. His name is Tianzi, and he's kind. You're lucky he even agreed to take you." I sneered. "If he's so perfect, why not marry him to Kyle?" Mom's face darkened. "You're marrying him whether you like it or not. We already took the dowry, 16,000 yuan. It's done." I secretly contacted the local matchmaker to find out more. When she heard the details, the matchmaker was furious. "Your mom's insane. That guy's no catch. His factory is a shack. 180 and 160? That's his weight and height. The government benefits are because he served time in prison for assault. He's not killing anyone anymore, so they call that a soft heart now." I was stunned. But Mom wasn't done. Soon after, she brought Daisy Lee home for dinner, acting like it was a happy family gathering. Daisy was tiny, frail, with sallow skin and red, puffy eyes, clearly forced into this. She introduced herself politely. "Hello, Uncle, Auntie Claire. I'm Daisy." Mom loaded her plate. "You're so skinny. Eat more. You need to gain weight so you can have strong, healthy babies. My Kyle likes chubby kids. Daisy lowered her head and ate silently, tears dripping onto her rice. I knew Mom planned to have Kyle assault her that night to seal the deal. While Mom was busy washing dishes, I pulled Daisy into the bathroom. You don't want to marry my brother, do you? She trembled. I miss my mom. That's all. I handed her tissues and whispered, you can still run. If I don't agree to this marriage, my mom can't pay your dad the bride price. She hesitated, scared, but hopeful. I took out my phone and transferred her 8,000 yuan. Take this, run, never come back. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She hugged me tightly. Thank you, Claire. I'll pay you back someday. I promise. That night, I packed my ID and a few essentials. Daisy and I slipped out of the apartment, ran down 3 flights of stairs, and sprinted into the cool summer night. For the first time in years, I felt free. Mom nearly lost her mind when she found out. With no way to pay Daisy's father, she was dragged to court and forced to return the dowry, plus legal fees. She called me screaming, "You selfish bitch! How could you ruin everything?" I blocked her. Then she used someone else's phone to say she'd show up at my company and make a scene, but she didn't even know where I worked. She never cared. Never once asked where my office was, whether I was tired or if I was okay. All she ever cared about was how much I made, and how much of it she could take. Months passed. I heard through the grapevine that Kyle had lost everything, his reputation, his boyfriend, even his health. Apparently, Kyle's boyfriend had kept pushing him to experiment more. One day they tried something new, an aggressive combo involving industrial chili paste and a duck neck sausage. It was a disaster. Kyle ended up in emergency surgery again. Part of his colon was removed. Afterward, he lost control of his bowels. He couldn't hold in poop or pee. Mom begged the boyfriend to help pay for treatment. The guy ghosted them. Enraged, she stormed into his workplace and got him fired. Kyle was devastated. You ruined my life. My boyfriend's gone because of you. Desperate, he tried to win the guy back. Please don't leave me. I'll do anything. The boyfriend's final message was brutal. Blame your mom. I was gonna dump you anyway, but she sped it up. And FYI, you're the loosest guy I've ever been with. Only thing saving you was your hemorrhoids. Kyle snapped. When Mom got home that night, Kyle punched her to the ground. You made him leave. Are you happy now? They fought, bloody and furious. But even through the blows, Mom still pulled her punches. Because in her eyes, Kyle was still her precious baby. But by now, everyone knew. Our relatives gossiped. No one would marry into our family. My parents were outcasts. Chapter 5, A Wedding Deal and a Revolt. Word of Kyle's sexual preferences had spread through the village. No one wanted anything to do with our family anymore. But my parents weren't ready to give up on their delusions of continuing the family line. To fix Kyle's reputation, they decided to arrange a new marriage for him. They found a girl barely of age, from an even poorer village. She didn't want to marry Kyle, but her father had already taken the bride price. Her opinions didn't matter. My mom welcomed her like royalty. At the dinner table, the girl looked terrified. She introduced herself as Emily Zhao. Mom beamed. Emily, you're family now. Eat up. We'll fatten you up so you can give Kyle a chubby, healthy baby. Emily barely touched her food, silently wiping away tears. I pulled her into the bathroom that night. You don't want this marriage, do you? She hesitated, voice trembling. My dad already took the money. I can't run. I looked her in the eye. Yes, you can. I gave her 8,000 yuan and a phone number. This is your ticket out. You're not a breeding machine. You don't owe your father anything. She hugged me, sobbing. I'll never forget this. We left that night, running into the humid dark, another girl freed from a life of hell. When Mom found out again, she nearly had a stroke. With no dowry to repay, she was sued. She lost. Again. The court fees crushed her. She called me, furious, saying I had ruined Kyle's future, twice. I blocked her number for good. More time passed. Kyle spiraled further. The surgery had left him incontinent. His boyfriend ghosted him completely. He'd lost his pride, his health, and his future. He locked himself in his room, depressed and bitter. Mom never stopped blaming his ex. She whispered in Kyle's ear every day. It's all his fault. He used you. He left you. He destroyed you. Kyle believed her. One day, in a fit of blind rage, he locked Mom in her bedroom, poured gasoline outside, and set it ablaze. She burned to death, just like I did in my past life. Only this time, the flames weren't meant for me. Irony's a bitch. Chapter 6. Trial by Fire. After the fire, Kyle was arrested. I went to the trial. I wasn't there for justice. I just wanted to see it with my own eyes. To my shock, Dad, the man who used to threaten to beat Kyle to death, submitted an official letter of forgiveness on Kyle's behalf. Because Kyle was his son, his only son. And now, without his wife, Dad clung to Kyle like a lifeline. He even stood up in court to plead for mercy, but it was pointless. Kyle's crime was too brutal. Not only had he killed Mom by setting her on fire, but the flames spread and damaged the neighbor's property, causing massive financial losses and public panic. The judge handed down a death sentence. Right before they led him away, Kyle looked at the judge and said, "Your Honor, may I say something to my sister?" Permission was granted. Kyle walked toward me, red-eyed and trembling. "Claire," he growled, "why didn't you stop me this time? Everything that's happened to me, it's all your fault." And that's when I realized Kyle had been reborn too, just like me, only his rebirth came too late. He hadn't learned a damn thing. He lunged at me, hands aiming for my throat. "If you wanted me dead, let's go together." I saw it coming. I stepped back, just enough. Before he could touch me, the guards tackled him to the floor. He thrashed. He howled. But there was no escape. I crouched beside him, calm as a winter lake. "Last time I tried to save you, you repaid me with fire. This time, I'm not that stupid." Then I stood up and walked away. I didn't look back. A month later, the death sentence was carried out. Chapter 7. Cutting the Cord. After the execution, I walked into a salon and told the hairdresser, "Cut it short. Just long enough to tie up." As the scissors snipped, locks of my long black hair fell to the floor. I watched in silence. It felt like I was shedding the weight of a lifetime. When I was 7, Mom had me grow out my hair so she could sell it. She promised, "If we sell it, I'll use the money to buy you a new backpack." So I endured 2 years without a haircut. In the scorching summer heat, rashes bloomed across my back. My scalp itched constantly. My hair was so long and thick it gave me headaches. Finally, the day came. A hair collector came to our house and chopped off nearly all my hair, so much that my scalp showed through. I stared at the ugly, uneven haircut in the mirror, excited that I would finally get a new backpack. But Mom didn't keep her promise. She used the 200 yuan to buy Kyle new clothes, new shoes, and toys. When I asked for even a cheap backpack, she yanked me by the collar. "You selfish brat. All you care about is yourself. Why can't you think of your brother for once?" Dad joined in. "Kyle's your younger brother. You're supposed to make sacrifices for him." From that day forward, I was no longer a daughter. I was just a resource. My hair, my things, my peace, even my dignity. Everything existed for Kyle. Every time I grew my hair, Mom would sell it again and again. My sacrifice funded Kyle's new games, his new sneakers, his flashy jackets. I was never Claire, the daughter. I was just Kyle's older sister. I looked at myself in the salon mirror now, short hair, clean lines, unburdened. My eyes were a little red, but the sun was shining when I stepped outside. And I silently wished, may the warmth of the sun shine on all the dark, damp, forgotten corners of this world. May there never again be girls like Claire, Daisy, or Emily. And may there never again be boys like Kyle. After Kyle's execution and Mom's death, I thought maybe, just maybe, Dad would change. But he didn't. He was quiet, yes, distant, but not reflective. He went on with his life like someone merely rearranging furniture after a house fire, not acknowledging that the whole structure had collapsed. I didn't expect redemption. I didn't want it. I moved out of that cursed house with nothing but a few essentials and started over in a tiny one-bedroom apartment. My coworkers didn't know anything about my past. They thought I was just another quiet girl who worked hard and stayed late. And I liked it that way. I no longer had to explain why I never called home, or why I flinched at the sound of raised voices, or why I couldn't stand the smell of pineapple or chili oil. I began rebuilding my savings, bought a second-hand couch, a decent set of pans, a rice cooker. I learned how to sleep without fear that someone would sneak into my room and steal from me. Or worse. Most importantly, I stopped feeling guilty for wanting a life of my own. Sometimes on quiet nights, I'd think of Daisy and Emily, two girls who, like me, had nearly been traded away like livestock. I hoped they were out there somewhere, safe, living lives they chose for themselves. And sometimes, I thought of Kyle, not with sorrow, but with an emotion far colder, indifference. He burned me to death once. In this life, he burned the very woman who created him. And somehow, I survived both. I wasn't born to carry someone else's destiny on my back. I wasn't born to be someone's spare parts. I was born for me. Subscribe for more stories, updates every day.